Last time on the bouncing ball tutorial, we started animating a bouncing ball on this Super Smash Bros. Stage.
And he's going to toss the ball off this little ledge here, and it's going to bounce. It's going to go boink, 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 and then hit Bowser.
We started blocking in our extreme poses, which are the points where the ball is either at the highest point along its bouncing arc or at the point where the ball contacts the ground. These are extreme poses. I have since timed out my extreme poses to my liking, clicking on the keyframes in Blender and dragging them to time out the rhythm of how the ball bounces. And now it's time to create the in-between poses, to start to carve out the arc of the bouncing ball. It's time to enter the in-between. An in-between pose is a pose between extreme poses. Take a look at this video game animation of Bowser. Let's look at the extreme poses, when the character's posture is the most clearly defined. These are extreme poses. The in-between poses are poses between these poses, and are really important for continuity of the character's movement. Let's look back at our bouncing ball. We need to put some poses between our extreme poses so we can really define the arc of our bouncing ball. So let's dive right in.
Okay, welcome back to Blender for part 2 of the bouncing ball tutorial. I am your host. In the in-between, I have timed out my bounces, the extreme poses. Some tips for you to time out your bounces. Things that to notice. You always should be looking at the frame count between the lowest height and the highest height. So for example, this one has a gap from 11 frames to 18 frames. That's a 7-frame gap. So that means on the way down, it should also be a 7-frame gap. So 18 plus 7, that is 18 plus 7, let's see, 18 plus 8 is 26, so that means 18 plus 7 is 25. So each time the ball bounces, it should take the same number of frames on the way up and on the way down. It's just each bounce gets narrower and narrower and smaller until the bounce basically, gets shorter and shorter. I'm actually already seeing this one. Frame 41, I actually kind of want that bounce to be kind of right over the crest. So let's move the thing over. I'm gonna make sure I am in pose mode. Pose mode's where we animate. Remember, we click on this little hula hoop thing in object mode, and we switch into pose mode. And this little hula hoop thing is what we click on to animate the position. That's really important. We click on that hula hoop. I'm going to hit GX. I'm going to move it along the X-axis, which in this case is going, along our bounce. And I'm going to center this right above the middle of this. Remember, the ball goes up and it arcs. Anyways, I'm going to hit I to insert a location keyframe. Boop. And then I'm going to... and that, by the way, remember, we were over frame 42, so just replace that. And you'll see these motion paths, these lines. Remember, to create those, you have to right-click and say Calculate Motion Paths. Calculating motion paths gives us a really clear line. This is really, if you're trying to get your arcs to look good, getting a good motion path is the key to that. So I'm going to right-click. Remember, every single time I make a change, I have to right-click and I have to say Update All Motion Paths. And then bam, look at that. It updates. When I'm animating a bouncing ball, I just make boink noises. I go boink, 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 boink. Yeah. So maybe I'll have it roll out a little bit, but I'll do that at the end. So maybe there's like one more bounce I'd like to add, maybe, but it's overall, I'm really liking the timing here. So notice on that each bounce gets quicker and quicker. So like With this one, it was a 7-frame gap. With this one, it was a 6-frame gap. And this one is a 5-frame gap. And this one is a 4-frame gap all the way down to a 3-frame gap. So each bounce basically gets quicker and quicker. The gaps get shorter and shorter, because if we study a bouncing ball, it basically, each bounce, as the ball loses energy, the bounces get smaller and smaller, and the length of each bounce gets shorter and shorter. So anyways, things to think about as you're doing timing. Let's start adding in-between poses. That's what we're here for, right? Let's do it. Okay, adding in-between poses. Let's start out. I put this thing on right here. It says starting height, halfway point. I put this here to kind of help us know where the halfway is, especially as you added extreme poses. Let's go ahead and start out doing a halfway point. So a halfway point between 1 and 11 is 6. Because remember, if it was 0 and 10, it would be 5. So a halfway point here is 6. So I'm just going to say, like, the halfway point, we're going to add another extreme pose. So I'm going to go ahead and move the ball around. GZ. It floats down. GX. G. I'm going to just animate the halfway point first. It might not be exactly at frame 6, actually, but we're going to make it go anyways. So I'm imagining it goes like this. This kind of arc-like motion. Halfway point needs to be right about here. Because remember, it goes boink, boink. So, because I'm trying to see, at the halfway point, it's already pretty well into itself. So I'm just going to zoom in here. Yeah, so I like this location right here. It's outside, because remember, we're going to make this arc. Right now it's a straight line. We're going to make more of a arcy motion, because everything moves in arcs. So let's go ahead and hit I, add a location keyframe. I'm going to go ahead and clear the Y keyframes. Oopsies. We're going to go ahead and delete the Y keyframes. We don't really, wait a minute. I, insert location keyframe. Okay. There we go. So that's our first in between. Let's just kind of watch. Let's just play it and see how it looks. You know, it does look a little bit out. So maybe we'll just bring that in a little bit. Yeah. I, insert location. Remember, if you hit I, insert location, that will replace the keyframe. It's over this. So click on that playhead is how we kind of play over stuff. So let's watch it.
Yeah, okay.
Let's update the motion path real fast. Update all motion paths. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's now play with the timing a little bit. So this is perfectly the halfway mark. So it goes slower, slower. It starts to get squared. Let's push this back just a little bit. So maybe, no. Gravity takes a little bit faster. So yeah, so interesting. Okay. We'll play with the timing eventually. So let's add another in between this little mountain here. You know, more I'm looking at this, the more it seems like it should be a little bit further back. So let's I, insert location, and then I'm going to go right click and say update all motion paths. That's looking a little better. There we go. Or maybe this bounce location needs to be a little bit more forward. Yeah, okay, so let's move this forward. You know, it's all about revising. You know, as you add more in-betweens, you'll kind of realize maybe, you know, your bounce arcs need to be changed a little. And that's totally okay. It's absolutely okay to kind of, you know, change your mind as you're going. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. Always improving. let's add an in-between here. So this is going to be the halfway point here. So let's add a halfway point here. Yes. Okay. GZ. So halfway between this arc is about here. X moves it along here. So let's get this to right here. I think so. Blank. I always try to trace it with my finger. Blank. Okay, so maybe right here might be the ticket. Insert location keyframe. Update all motion paths. Maybe a little bit more forward. Insert location. Update all motion paths. Let's check it out. Maybe. I mean, that's kind of another good one. Should I hide the motion paths? Interesting. Maybe I'm looking at this. This feels like it's a little too high for the bounce now that I'm looking at it. So let's bring it down just a little bit. Insert location. Update all motion paths. Yeah. Trying to find the right location for this, you know. Insert location frame. So update motion paths. Okay, so we're just trying to add an in-between here. GZ, GX, maybe right there. Just blink. 7 looks a little bit too far forward now. Insert keyframe location. Yeah, this is where it starts to become kind of time consuming because you're just trying to play around with it and just kind of watch it over and over and over again. You're gonna be watching things quite a lot. That's looking better. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. So let's add another in between here. Let's see. So we had an in between 4 frames after, so that was a 3 frame. That's not quite halfway. Oops. 18, 11, 7 is 20. So wait, hold on. 18 plus 7 is 26. 18 plus 8 is 26. 1 less is 25. So we need a 3 frame gap here. So 11 to 14, 21 is where we'll put our next in between. And that should be symmetrical, so it should be on this side. So GC, GX. So I'm at frame 21. I'm going to say, kind of give it a little bit on the outer edge of this. And I'm going to say, insert location keyframe, update the motion path, and then check this out. Maybe these need to be higher up. Insert location, GZ, insert location, update on motion paths. There we go. Yeah, you know, blink, 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 blink. Yeah, I'm thinking these need to be higher up for where they're at right now. So let's take them both higher up. It's kind of just adding in between. GZ, adding in between location. Blink, 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 blink. Okay, I'll make sure we're always updating all motion paths. So let's add another in between this bounce right here. And you can see like each kind of thing we're kind of trying to add an in between here. So okay, halfway between here is 25 to 31. Let's add an in between here. Insert location, update all motion paths. We're going to add another one here, so that's 31 to 28, so that's a 3-frame gap, so let's do 34. GZ, GX, put this right here, insert update motion paths. Now let's check it out. Boink, 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 boink. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking good. Boink, 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 boink. Boink, 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 boink. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's just really, like, it feels really satisfying when you start really getting into this. So let's see. Let's add in between here. This is 42.37. So we know the halfway point is probably going to be around like right here. This is not a clear halfway point because 37 to 42, that's a 5-frame halfway point. Let's add the in-between right here. I think it's going to be a better time if we add one right here. So GX, moving this right here. Yeah, GX. Insert location keyframe. I for insert keyframe. Then we're going to go give this one a 2-frame gap. Insert. And then we're going to hit GZ and move it on the opposite side. I'm just kind of putting it on the opposite of this line. GC, GX, insert location keyframe. Let's watch it. Move this up a little bit. GZ, GX, GZ, GZ, GX. GZ is up and down. GX is left and right. Insert location keyframe. We're going to update the motion pass. All right, let's see what we got. Boink, 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 boink. Oh, yes. Yeah, there we go. That's looking great. And we'll be able to smooth that out real nice. Okay, we'll finish by adding these in-betweens on here. These are quick ones. These are like, so it hits the ground, goes GZ, GX. I'm making like a song, you know. GX, insert location keyframe. Go forward, what is that, 2 frames? Like 49 to 51, 53. That's GZ, GX, GZ. And I'm moving basically forward, and then I'm going to the time I want to add a keyframe, and then I hit I, insert location keyframe, and then check it out. Oh, and then I right-click update motion pass. Oh, wait, 49. That's asymmetrical, so 53 needs to chill. You need to chill, 53. Yeah, there we go, 53. Okay, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Boink, 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 boink. Yeah, there we go. There we go, my man. There we go. Okay, so 55 to 58. 57. Okay, yeah, we'll do right here. Right here. Just a little bit, you know. Insert location keyframe. GX, GZ, GX. Insert location keyframe. And then right click, update all motion paths. That's not quite symmetrical. Let's skip that up a little bit. Insert keyframe location. Update all motion paths. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Boink, 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 boink. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've added some in-between keyframes. Now we just need to add more in-between keyframes and start timing that out. And next time we'll be talking about how to, you know, we're going to be adding more in-between. We need to be adding more in-betweens in between the in-betweens, and then we'll get really into timing. You have to really make sure when you start adding more in-betweens at this point, you have to make sure it starts to slow down at the top and then speed up at the bottom. So I'll just quickly show you how to do at least the top on this one, and you'll be able to kind of do it for the rest. So let's see, between this pose right here, we want to have one frame, like one keyframe here and one keyframe here. So we're going to kind of make it so it's slow. So we're going to kind of take this one right here, GZ, GX, and this is a 2-frame gap, I believe. We're in 16 frame 16. It's kind of like making this like this. GZ. Insert keyframe. And then I give a 2-frame gap from 18 to 20. Wait a minute. 14. 18. 14 to 18. So that means this should be 22. This should be 22. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's the okay. Update on motion pass. And then this one should be to 20. Let's see, 18 to 20. This should be 20. And then this one should be kind of in the same boat here. Symmetrical. I'm just adding in between, and we'll get in between. And then 16 is a little high. Get down there, 16. You're above your station. You're not promoted. Like, oh no, but I wanted the promotion. No, sorry. Okay. 16. 16 maybe needs to get down a little bit more. Up. So I'm gonna go insert keyframe location. 20 needs to get down as well. Insert location keyframe. Update all motion paths. There we go. That's a smoother arc. There we go. So now you got to start adding more in-betweens to in-betweens, basically. And you'll start to think about timing, be thinking about timing. Remember, things slow down at the top and they speed up at the bottom. See you soon. Have a great rest of your day. And it was great making this thing with you. I'm excited to see you animate all of your bouncing ball. Have a great rest of your day.